President Cyril Ramaphosa has just addressed the SA Auto Week in Cape Town. Now, captains of the automotive industry have gathered to celebrate the industry's 100 years in existence. The automotive industry contributes 5.3% to GDP. Now, the conference has been discussing ways to drive localization, increasing exports in a challenging environment while creating jobs. We're now joined by SABC News reporter Liabo Setho for more on this. So, Liabo, we heard so much from the president. He said that the industry has shown resilience in the face of many challenges. What are some of the highlights from the president's speech?
Thank you so much. The president did commend the automotive industry for their contribution to the South African economy, which you've so rightly mentioned of that. It contributes, in fact, last year contributed 5.3%. However, the industry is obviously facing headwinds, just like any other industry. The exports have been down, and we've also seen how capital injection from the manufacturing OEMs has also declined. But when you look at holistically from 1995 to 2004, the picture does tell you of an industry that is really committed to South Africa. Nearly 500,000 jobs being created by the sector. But I thought that we should get rather a deep dive view from one of the manufacturing OEMs, Isuzu, to find out the kind of challenges they're seeing and the trends that they're seeing from their customers who are buying their vehicles. I'm joined now by Komani Pito. He is from Isuzu. He is the Senior Vice President for Commercial Operations. Mr. Pito, thank you so much for your time. The President has mentioned, obviously, the immeasurable contribution that manufacturing OEMs have made, but there still is an issue with the issue of exports, and some of your colleagues in the industry have said that maybe we need to look at things differently in terms of your catalytic converters and now start looking at the hydrogen, the green hydrogen economy. Tell us about your experience as Isuzu and what the President has said.
Thank you very much for having me. The big challenge that we've been seeing in South Africa is mainly the lower cost imports that are coming into the country, which have really been driving some of the challenges that the local manufacturers are experiencing. But in addition to that, we've seen the high interest rates that we've had in the country that have impacted the consumers. And as forecasted by NAMSA, we did expect that the first half of the year will be challenging. Now, as the industry, there has been some investment that have been made. For example, like the likes of ourselves, Isuzu, we've invested in the tooling and in some capital to help refresh our product to try and grow our business and grow our brand. I think the biggest thing that we need to be looking at as an industry together with the government is more around protection of the industry. And protection of the industry will happen in two ways. Firstly is around the policies to protect the industry in terms of looking at incentives as well as looking at the duties to protect the industry, grow the volume so that there could be more investment and there could be further increase or growth in employment, which we've really done very well over the last couple of years.
You can just give us perhaps an idea of the people or the customers that are buying Isuzu products. What are they looking for out of a vehicle, looking at how the innovation is changing around cleaner fuels and much more efficient automobiles?
Well, Isuzu, for example, we're really known as a commercial vehicle company. Firstly, from commercial point of view, our customers are looking for first the lowest cost per use. Second thing, they're looking for reliability on the use. And then the third part is consumers are already starting to talk about new energy vehicles. And these are some of the things that we know that we're working on as Isuzu to support the consumers and ensure that we protect the brand and we meet the consumers' needs into the future.
Yeah. The president also mentioned about how sentiment is starting to change. There is a word that the government as well as private sector are expecting a more than 3% economic growth by next year. Looking at the economic variables right now, are you confident that what the narrative that the government is sharing and what you're experiencing on the ground, you will be able to increase that investment that you have been making already?
I think the starting signs are starting to come through. Firstly, looking at the easing of inflation, the reduction in the repo rate, which in a couple of months will help the consumers and start bringing the confidence and consumer spending. And we're seeing improvement, obviously, over 200 days with no load shedding. And there's some work that still needs to be done from logistics point of view in terms of improving the efficiencies at Transnet. There is some positivity, but a lot of work still needs to be done, both by government and with support of private sector. But most important is that government needs to build the capacity to be able to sustain those improvements without the need of intervention from the private sector.
Yeah. We are also observing Transport Month as the month of October. What kind of initiatives are you having at Isuzu to encourage, easier mobility and to make sure that people still look at transport in a holistic way, in a way that is efficient in South Africa?
Let's start talking about our product itself. I mean, we know that we're working on things like the compressed natural gas vehicle, or from commercial point of view, to help in terms of the use and the lower cost as well as the impact on the environment. But the second part is that we're working with the industry in helping and supporting to make sure that the corridor on rail between Gauteng and Eastern Cape gets to work again, so that we can reduce the amount of vehicles on the road and we can be able to reduce the impact and make it workable for the community.
Mr. Komanipitso, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I've been in conversation with Mr. Komanipitso. He is the Senior Vice President for Commercial Operations at Isuzu. Really just giving us a view from industry perspective on everything that the President did mention in his speech today, as well as some future endeavors, as well as what they would like to see in order for them to make a meaningful contribution. We will be speaking to other industry leaders throughout the day today to find out their views about what has been said today. And with that, it's back to you in studio.
All right, that's our Liabo Setho watching that story. Thanks very much indeed for that update.